As I sit down to write these words, each sentence I type causes me physical pain. My right wrist aches. I can feel the tension in my tendons with each stroke of the keyboard. My hand shakes a little when left alone. My arm feels weak, and holding a fist feels a little uncomfortable, like I lack some strength that should be there, like something is pinching the muscles of my forearm. I can put on a compression wrist guard to help, but it doesn't really alleviate my pain. You may be wondering, if you somehow avoided seeing this video's thumbnail or title, why my right wrist hurts so much. I am a writer, and I'm in the midst of grading papers. Perhaps I've been typing all day on my computer. Well, yes, but that's not the cause. Maybe it's my love for playing piano or guitar. Again, nope. Nah. The reason is far more pathetic. I'm addicted to playing Minesweeper. Minesweeper, you ask? That silly game with numbers and mines I've never quite figured out how to play? Yes, that game. The one that came pre-installed on your mom's or grandpa's computer in the 90s. The game that the world collectively moved on from a few years later. The game whose lasting cultural legacy starts and ends with a college humor sketch from 2007. That game is the reason my wrist health is in such peril, and it's a game I'm hoping to quit by the end of this video. But before we get to that, let's back up a bit. How the hell did we get here? While I knew about Minesweeper's existence for most of my life, as I was around computers at an early age, I didn't know how to play, nor did it become a personal obsession for me until late into high school. My best friend at the time got me hooked on the game, and she was way faster than me. I would play as best I could, then send her text messages on my flip phone celebrating new best times, only to receive back messages which trumped my efforts easily. Still, while my competitive side may have gotten a little salty, it was all in good fun. I loved playing Minesweeper with my friend, but like the Rubik's Cube I learned how to solve, or my 1-month obsession with playing terrible movies with the sound off and making up new words and sound effects with my friends, it didn't last long. I moved on to other stuff, as many teenagers do, but the seeds were planted. Minesweeper was no longer some foreign thing hidden away in the Windows XP start menu. It was a game I knew how to play, however badly that might be. From there, my interest in Minesweeper entered a long, dormant period until some massive worldwide event in 2020 forced everyone indoors. Bored, stuck at home, I absent-mindedly found a place to play Minesweeper online and remembered just how fun it was. But this time, the fun didn't stop. Minesweeper became my go-to game, not just when I was in a malaise, but in online meetings and playing Dungeons & Dragons on Zoom. You may think this quite irreverent of me, but actually quite the opposite. Compared to browsing Twitter, Reddit, or YouTube, Minesweeper actually was just enough to keep me focused and listening to what everyone else was saying without losing track of the conversation daydreaming. Minesweeper is an excellent focus tool, and I've listened to hundreds of hours of podcasts, meetings, and dungeon masters while playing the game. Minesweeper even dictated my hardware choices. I became acutely aware of when computer mice had even a slightest bit of malfunction, and went through 4 of them until I settled on the one that helped me achieve my fastest times. After those first few months, I started to feel a small pain in my wrist, which I did link to my Minesweeper addiction, but I didn't think much of it. In fact, I viewed it not as a problem with the game or my body, but with my play pattern. I was spam clicking too much. If I played more efficiently, my pain would go away, and I would be a better Minesweeper player. Talk about a win-win. Outside of being a force for fun, Minesweeper gave me a small breakthrough on YouTube. In November 2020, right after taking my PhD preliminary exams, to relax, I married the topic of my exams to my channel. And in about 2 hours, I wrote, recorded, and released Zen and the Art of Minesweeper, a 2-minute video about my mentality toward the game, how I loved how I could get lost in the patterns and rhythms of play. I brought in a quote from one of my favorite books, Natasha Shull's Addiction by Design, and compared the feeling of Minesweeper to pulling the lever on a slot machine. I was naive, thinking I was above addiction to a video game. Regardless, the video proved to be my first success. I submitted it to the R Speedrun subreddit and it got a modest amount of upvotes and a bunch of views, about 400. Not a lot for me now, but it was the first time I ever tasted success on YouTube, and it inspired me to keep making these videos in hopes of finding a bigger audience someday. I released a video a week from November 17th, a week before that Minesweeper video, until April 5th that spring. That's a 21-week streak. The only thing that stopped the streak? My first attempt at a long-form video essay on Sokoban and Baba Is You. While long-form reviews from channels like Action Button inspired the creation of my channel in the first place, I wanted to find my feet before attempting them, but the month it took to write and record the video sapped me of energy, and I struggled to find my once-a-week rhythm afterward. Feeling ashamed after missing a week, I decided to write on Old Reliable, Minesweeper. I did not do it because I had something interesting to say, but because I felt guilty about my own lethargy and felt a need to get something out. So I wrote, "How the heck do you speedrun Minesweeper?" in a day, recorded it the next day, threw together a video, and shoved it out the door. Our speedrun was even more gracious this time, giving the video 2,000 views in the first few days. But it actually kind of made me unhappy. Here I had slaved away for a month making a beautiful reflection on an obscure genre of game, and it flopped relative to my expectations. Then I unthinkingly release a second Minesweeper video, and it gets a bunch of views. Ugh, so annoying. And a little Reddit pop may have been all it was, but something peculiar happened. Like Minesweeper felt all the love I gave it over the years and wanted to give something back. In early July, I went to check my analytics like all YouTubers obsessively do, and I noticed something odd. My Minesweeper video was popping off. The algorithm had decided it was worth pushing, I guess. By the end of the month, it would have 20,000 views, while my next most viewed video had 1,500. How the heck do you speed Minesweeper is still my most viewed video. And it's not like that stopped me. I kept playing Minesweeper. I put it on the shelf as a video topic, long contemplating whether or not I would make some 3-hour video on the game someday, but feeling like the time wasn't quite right. Instead, I made videos on lots of other things, and all the while, I kept playing Minesweeper. A lot of Minesweeper. After being introduced to Minesweeper online in the comments of my video, a site which would actually track my stats, I played almost every day. In between May 2021 and now, I've started almost 50,000 expert games of Minesweeper. That's about 89 attempts a day. Now, many of those games end after a few clicks as I restart the table if I get a bad start, but a lot don't. My times dramatically fell. I got my best ever time of 77 seconds in June of this year. That may not mean much to you, but it puts me near the top 4,000 players on the website, or put another way, the top 0.3%. I'm pretty good at the game, and it's not a fluke. My second best time was 79 seconds on October 2nd, just a couple months ago. So it's not like I was stopping anytime soon, right? Well, you see, all this year, I've had a love-hate relationship with my most played game. I play it, I get obsessed for a few days, I listen to hours of a new podcast I love, and then I get searing pain in my wrist and force myself to stop. I block the website off my computer, I wear a wrist guard on my arm, I tell myself, this time I'm done for good, no more. But I just come crawling back a week or two later and repeat the process all over again. I've tried playing with different mice, different sensitivities, but none of it really helps. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I have no self-control. The allure of Minesweeper is just too strong, and I hate myself for it. I hate feeling like I need the game to function. This isn't just a little twinge in my wrist either. Playing Minesweeper is seriously hampering my ability to do other things I love. After a Minesweeper binge, playing piano becomes painful. Typing on my mechanical keyboard becomes painful. Working on the trackpad on my laptop becomes painful. Picking up my child becomes painful. I have to adjust how I handle things to accommodate for my wrist while it's healing. And I even have trouble falling asleep some nights because my wrist is so agitated and full of numb pain. I even tried to replace my Minesweeper addiction with something else. I downloaded a Tetris NES ROM and I obsessively played it to get the taste of Minesweeper out of my mouth. I've gotten pretty good. In fact, today I just hit a new high score just shy of 400,000 points. But Tetris ain't no Minesweeper. I ended up just alternating between them, and now I'm ashamed that I picked up another addiction to go along with what some might consider my greatest vice, avoiding clicking mines on a 16 by 30 grid. I don't hate Minesweeper, and I don't really blame the game. If it didn't hurt my wrist, it would be a perfectly fine pastime, and I think a lot of people can play the game without incurring any serious harm, but none of that's the point. The point is that I am not one of those people. Playing Minesweeper is bad for my physical health. I want to still be playing piano when I'm 70. I want to be able to hold a video game controller, operate a mouse. I'm not sure I can do that while playing Minesweeper dozens of times every day. Yet, left to my own devices, my lizard brain, which just wants to find something to get lost in, find that zen at the center of play only Minesweeper gives me, always wins out over my higher brain. And I come crawling back to this unhealthy obsession. I love Minesweeper, but it's time to let it go. I just can't. Minesweeper isn't just some quirky game to me. Minesweeper is part of my identity. Being me means relaxing after a long day with a podcast and Minesweeper. Being Evelyn means ever competing for better times, even if I'm well aware that I'm nowhere near the best. Being I Am Error means making artsy philosophical videos about Minesweeper. I am a lot more than my relationship to Minesweeper, but it's still part of me, a part I'm having trouble letting go. And that's why I'm making this video, because maybe by broadcasting my shame to the world, writing about my relationship to this game, I can let go. Let go of the zen at the heart of play. Let go of my favorite game to speedrun. Let go of pursuing the best times, trying to raise my 3BV per second or my efficiency percent. So this is my vow to you. I have an online profile of Minesweeper. Here's a picture. I have 1,171 wins. I have 815 expert wins. I want those numbers to never change. I want to never win another game of Minesweeper again. I want to never try. So I'm posting a link to my profile, player 3317833, Evelyn, I Am Error, in the video description to hold myself accountable. Those numbers shall never again rise. It doesn't matter if anyone actually checks. The threat that they might should hopefully keep me at bay. That profile shall become the tombstone of my time playing Minesweeper, because it's time to move on. I know it all sounds dramatic, but I hope writing this out, speaking it, releasing this video will give me the catharsis to let the game go. This video is the memorial of my relationship with Minesweeper, one of my favorite games, the one that produced my most viewed video of 2020, 2021, and knowing my luck, probably 2022 as well. I feel a lot of bitterness in letting it go, but it's also sweet to remember all the good times, my long history with this game, and know that I get to end that relationship on my own terms. I Am Error, off to do something other than play Minesweeper. Signing off.